The fantasy news must be summoned. Welcome everybody to another episode of Fantasy News. I am your malfunctioning goblin host, Daniel Greene, and today we have a diverse, strange collection of fantasy stories that nothing here is super earth-shattering, if I'm just gonna be perfectly honest, but I have many strong opinions. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and get into the first story. Though mainly I'm just including this, I think it's fun, and that is the fact that we had several Olympians during the 2021 Olympics make overt manga or anime references, most notably for myself to One Piece. So, see that, Dad? It's Olympian approved One Piece. Alright, let's go ahead and jump into the cover news. Starting, of course, you know I have to cover it with the yet another edition we are getting of Eye of the World, the first book in the Wheel of Time. Yes, we had that whole series new wrap-up of covers, and now we are getting an actual just Eye of the World directly associated with the show. It's getting that same blue sticker, and it's not as bad as like a direct screenshot cover, which I was almost afraid we were gonna get because this is the poster, and as I said when I originally covered this, I don't think this is a shot from the show. This definitely looks like a direct marketing piece, but this is probably in the lower tier of Wheel of Time covers because you're just comparing it to stuff that's custom made to be a cover, and this very much so gives me the vibe of marketing, sell, related to show, but it's not horrible, it's not bad. It's not nearly as bad as this Dune cover we have gotten, which is not the worst live action cover I've seen, but when you have the history of beautiful, wonderful Dune covers, it's also very Star Warsian to me, which is a flip of the actual influence, which is how much Dune influenced the creation of Star Wars, but this poster now feels like we've reversed the polarities, as they say in cheap, dumb sci-fi, and now the marketing for Dune feels like outdated Star Wars marketing. I just really don't like it, though I've seen some people do enjoy it, and that's great. It is definitely the better of the take the live action actors and put them together approach, but these just never look good to me. Although, you know what, looking at it more, it's really not the Jesus Christ, that sticker is so big. God, oh!
It says now a major motion picture. Excuse me, is David Lynch a joke to you?
But then we also had a tweet from author Jason Sanford, who released the art for his upcoming novel Plague Birds, which has been described as a combination of science fiction and dark fantasy. And I want to include this cover because damn, that looks good. Oh, I love that. That is a spicy looking cover. Of course, if you'd like to read more about this upcoming book or anything I talk about here today, links, as always, are in that description right down there. Now, as you probably know, unfortunately, recently the creator of BERSERK passed, which was something that just seemed to make huge waves among the just fantasy community as a whole. So many who were influenced by this wonderful creation came out and spoke on how the creator of BERSERK was just foundational to many of their own creative efforts. And it seems now that Kitaro Mura's last chapters that he actually crafted before his passing will be released with a special message for the author attached. Chapter 364 will be coming out this September. And so for the fans, I just hope this is a really good spot that the series is able to end on. And a lot of people who again, as I spoke on when I covered his passing, it can just be so, like, just make jarring effects on you as a fan to find out that someone you looked up to and created a piece of art that was so important to you as a reader passes. So I just hope that this is able to provide, you know, the followers of BERSERK some real catharsis. And I have no doubt that Mura will go down in history as like one of the greatest influencers of manga. While this series did not seem to line up with my personal taste, I would be a fool and an idiot to deny its greatness and influence, even outside of manga. But speaking of people who are going to be remembered as greats, let's talk about Mary Shelley, who already is, and the fact that she is now getting her own museum in Bath, England, which has been described as a museum combined with an immersive visitor experience. So it seems like you're not just going to be walking through reading plaques, but there's something for you to do. neat. But I cover this for the select few of you who are in England and Mary Shelley fans, as you should be, to go ahead and check on out. Or if you happen to be from another country and planning a trip to England soon and happen to be a very big fan of Mary Shelley, again, as you should be, go ahead and check this on out. My sense of humor is so trash.
We have also had a tweet from author Zach Argyle, who unbelievably, I actually do believe it, but oh my god, has had a illegal, unofficial copy of his book put on Audible through ACX. That's right, someone took his book, made an audiobook for it, and has currently released it online. This is absolutely horrifying, and I hope it is resolved as quickly as possible. I'm covering this to bring awareness of not only to this instance to have it helped resolved, but also to a larger problem that apparently can happen right now on ACX. I hope this is just a blip in the system and not a systemic problem, because if not, I could see this becoming a big deal we have to cover a lot more in the future. Oh my god.
But let's go ahead and talk about one of the most controversial adaptations happening for the sci-fi fantasy genres, and that's going to be Netflix's live-action Avatar, because the cast has been announced, and I've seen the comment section have a extremely mixed reaction to this. Some people concerned about ages or races and things along those lines, but this to me, I mean, god, Netflix is just in a rock and hard place now, because they've had the original creators of Avatar as politely as they could disavow what Netflix is trying to do here. It seems like the fans and even some of the previous cast for the original animated show just like back away and distance themselves from this project. They're just being set up to have one of the most gargantuan uphill fights for an adaptation I have ever seen to find fan approval. If it manages to pull it off, I will be so impressed. I am not saying it won't happen. I am just saying that if it does, that is like a bordering into the Miracle on Ice level of success for Netflix, with just the layers of reasons it seems for fans to not want this, with Netflix just seemingly boldly saying how they are betraying many of the original appeals of the Avatar show. So as always, I'm hoping for it to work out well, and I personally think some of this cast looks really good. So let's hope that Netflix is able to overcome the naysayers and put out something that is going to be remembered as a positive for the Avatar: The Last Airbender legacy. Here's to hoping. The actual cast for the show, though, is composed of Gordon Cormier as Aang, Kawantio Tarbell as Katara, Ian Osley as Sokka, and Dallas Liu as Zuko. And in the second and last piece of trailer news we're going to cover here today, we also had another look of Netflix's upcoming animated Witcher adaptation, and this again just looks to be positively received by fans and a natural next step for Witcher's story to be told. This franchise is continuing to find success and approval from fans as Netflix is faithfully chugging along, and I hope this IP isn't dropped, as Netflix does do with several shows that they've admitted, like, hey, for a lot of our shows, like, we only do 3 seasons and quit. I hope this is one of the exceptions to that rule, and we continue to see this world, which is just full of potential, explored. And it does seem they are doing this, though I could see them still bringing that, like, 3-season, I think it's 3-season strategy to Witcher, and then doing, like, 3 seasons of the Henry Cavill show, and then switching over to, okay, and now we're gonna do a different approach for Witcher, maybe a series show, again, or for show, I don't know, but let's see what the future holds. And finally, we got a teaser for the upcoming Metroid Dread, which according to this headline and the information shown, we are getting a focus on a secret society.
This struck me as extremely Halo feeling. I cannot be the only one who found that. I'm not complaining, I'm just saying how it felt.
Good God, do I want another Metroid game now? That was quickie news, I guess. Next news! Hey, I'm gonna squeeze in a really quick review of Suicide Squad, out on HBO Max and in theaters. I liked it quite a bit. It was a fun time, and James Gunn mixing with this particular setup just seemed like a natural fit, and his humor was more held back and reserved, but still played out a lot better than the original Suicide Squad, so yay! But we also have 2 news stories around this movie. Unfortunately, its box office returns have been absolutely abysmal, but what we do have is the fact that HBO Max has said it's the highest viewed movie they have released, actually second highest. I'm assuming number 1 would be Zack Snyder's Justice League. Yeah, those box office returns are not great, but the critical scores have been very high, and then you combine that with the apparent success on HBO Max, and I doubt Warner Brothers is viewing this as a failure. And according to all reports, they are still planning on moving forward with additional films from James Gunn in the DCEU. So if you have an HBO Max subscription, I recommend giving it a watch. It's definitely worth at least an at-home viewing experience because it's just fun. And the performances from people like Margot Robbie come across a lot cleaner this time. And in the final story we're going to cover here today, oh, it's the one I saw coming. Subtly, within the background of fantasy news, we have been touching on, tapping into, remarking about the upcoming Amazon's MMORPG, New World, and how it has been delayed again and again and again, and caused problems, and Amazon just trying to get into the video game industry as a whole has been more and more of a meme. Trying to just add on to the layers, once again, New World has been delayed, now beating out probably anything else I have regularly covered here on Fantasy News for the most number of delays. I might start doing a whole segment on just how often Amazon flops when trying to step into video games. I want them to do well. I like competition for video game spaces, and with how the video game industry is going, honestly, any additional competition I will approve of at this point. It can't be competition if you can't get a game out. That's not competition, that's noise. I actually was pretty excited for this game. It looked good, but now I'm just more interested in the stories around the game than the game. And that's not a good sign, good sir. I am now reverting to a 1600s man. Gentlemen, well, I bid you a good day. Like and subscribe if you have not already to this here port of news. Have a good one, y'all. Join the Discord. I don't know how to do all that in 1600s voice. It really threw me off. So what I'll just say is join the Discord server and post any fantasy news stories you'd like to see covered there. Hit the Patreon to support what I do here. I love y'all so much. And have a good one, everyone. Welcome to the week. We're going to have a good week this week. It's going to be we're going to have a Dark Souls review and stuff. It's going to be fun. Stick around. Stay tuned. I have weird energy today, and that's how we're ending this video. Bye!